Howdy, YouTube. Andrew from Blue Collar Gaming here, bringing you a standard deck tech of a deck I'm going to play two matches with, or a match with rather. Could only be 2 games if I go 2-0. I'm calling the deck Jared Weenie because the deck is made by one of the part owners and the manager of the Portal Comics and Gaming in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where every Friday night you can play Magic the Gathering. Every Sunday there's a Magic tournament, and throughout the week they play Pathfinder, War Machine, Dungeons and Dragons. It is the best gaming shop in the Lehigh Valley, from my bias. I've only been going there for 3 months now and they make you feel extraordinarily welcomed. Jared is a very good storekeep, and he does keep everything handy and in order, but enough plugging the portal. Jared actually played this deck to a 9th place finish at the Star City Games Open in Edison, New Jersey, a month or so back. The deck's pretty straightforward. It's a mono-white aggro deck that utilizes Blind Obedience for... I'm going to unlock the sideboard so I can move stuff around. That uses Blind Obedience to slow down the other aggro decks. If you're unaware of what Blind Obedience does, 1 white, 1 generic. Artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped with Extort, which for 1 white or 1 black, in this case white, you gain a life and your opponent loses a life when you summon something with the extra mana open. The deck's pretty straightforward. For the 1-drops, it has Champion of the Parish and War Falcon. War Falcon's a 2/1 flyer that can't attack unless you control another soldier, and Champion of the Parish will get a 1/1 counter for every human that enters the battlefield. So, with the exception of Sublime Archangel and Reckoner, Champion will grow and the Falcon will be able to attack. 2-drops, Thalia. I think Thalia is pretty self-explanatory. It's a 2/1 for 2 with first strike, and it's good against control because non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Thalia is very annoying for that. And then Knight of Glory, protection from black, 2/1 for 2. But the Exalted's good if you only want to attack with the Falcon for the extra damage, or leave him back to block, or whatever you want to pull. Another 2-drop, Elite Inquisitor, 2 white, 2/2, first strike vigilance, protection from vampires, werewolves, and zombies. Pretty much lets War Falcon attack. It'll grow Champion of the Parish, and it's a 2/2 first strike vigilance for 2, which is nutty. And then werewolves aren't really that big of a thing right now, but zombies is still being played here and there are a lot of vampire cards being thrown around. 3-drops, Fiend Hunter, pretty self-explanatory. It comes out to exile a problem card. And then the Reckoner, I think everybody that's interested in Standard by now is familiar with the Boros Reckoner. For hybrid, 3 hybrid, white-red. It's a 3/3 for 3 then, clearly. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player, which is huge, and then you can tap white or red to give it first strike. Which really gives a creature base a big card that'll just could destroy your opponent if it gets out of hand fast enough. And then finally, there's a 4-drop, Sublime Archangel. It's a 4/3 for 4. It gives everything Exalted, and it has Exalted, and it's got flying. The Archangel is a good finisher card for the deck. And for the mana base, he's running 23 planes. I apologize for the canines again. He's got Witchbane Orb, gives you hexproof, and when Witchbane Orb enters the battlefield, destroy all curses attached to you. Pretty self-explanatory for what Witchbane Orb gets sided in against, for generic. He's got a 4th Fiend Hunter here in the sideboard, which comes in if he really needs to reliably exile something else. It'd be better if he was explaining the deck, but from my perspective, that's what it would come in for. Nevermore, named card can't be cast. I mean, that stops a multitude of stuff. Stops Sphinx's Revelation, Darmary Raid, Jace, Garruk, or however you want me to say it. I don't care. I'll say it, Garruk. 4 Rest in Peace against Reanimator. It exiles anything from your opponent from all graveyards, and if a card or token will be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. It's an enchantment. Rest in Peace is very good against Reanimator. And Oblivion Ring, really self-explanatory, exiles another non-land permanent. And then he's got Faith Shield as a playset. For 1 white, target permanent you control gets protection from the color of your choice, and then Faithful Hour. If you have 5 or less life, instead, you and each permanent you control gain protection from that color. Pretty self-explanatory. The sideboard's really workable into the deck because you do have options to take out to put this stuff in, and the sideboard really does handle everything that it could have to deal with, minus 1 or 2 things, and depending on the draw and whatever. But as Magic players, you should all know that. It's a really fun deck to play for being 1 color. A lot of people online have said it's boring because it's 1 color, but in a meta where you have all the shock lands, all the buddy lands available, a 1 color deck that can come in and beat down those other decks is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, so I will link the match I played with this deck in the description, and if I play anything in the future, I might decide to play 1 more match after what I play or whatever, but I'll link it then. So yeah, this is the deck tech for the deck I'm calling Jared White Weenie. Comment, rate, subscribe, and thank you for watching.